What is an API? The beaver has a problem. The beaver is hungry, but it's not a hunger for physical wood. It's a hunger for information. The beaver is holding his smartphone, the front end. He wants to know, will the river flood today? The beaver looks at the water, but he's no shaman. He can't predict the weather. The one who knows how to predict the weather is a giant supercomputer sitting in a cold cave at the North Pole, the server. The beaver has a dilemma. How will the beaver's phone, here by the river, talk to the giant computer at the North Pole? The beaver tries to slap his tail on the water, but it's too far. Does the beaver try to lay 10,000 kilometers of fiber optic cable? No. The beaver is efficient. He's lazy in a smart way. The beaver needs a messenger. He needs someone to go there, ask, will it rain, grab the answer, and bring it back. This messenger has a name. It's called an API. To understand an API, forget the code for a minute. Let's go to the Riverside Lodge. Imagine that the beaver, you or your front-end app, is going to have dinner. The beaver sits at the table. He's starving. At the back of the restaurant is the kitchen, the server, the database. The kitchen is where the magic happens. That's where the logs, the fire, the pots, and the giant alpha beaver chef are. But pay attention, the beaver customer cannot enter the kitchen. If the beaver goes into the kitchen, he'll knock over the pots, burn his flat tail on the stove, and steal the entire winter stash. The kitchen is secure. The kitchen is private. So how does the beaver eat? He needs an interface. He needs an intermediary. He needs the waiter. The API is the waiter. The waiter's job is simple but vital. He goes to the table and takes your order, request. He takes the order to the kitchen and shouts to the chef. He waits for the chef to prepare it. He brings the food back to the table, response. The beaver at the table doesn't need to know how the stove works. He doesn't need to know how to bark the wood. He doesn't even need to know if the chef is in a bad mood. The beaver only needs to know how to ask. The API hides the complexity. It abstracts the mess. You ask for data, the API gives you data. Simple as that. Endpoints and documentation, the menu. But wait, can the beaver ask for anything? The beaver sits at the table and shouts to the waiter, "I want a roasted tractor tire." The waiter looks at him and says, "Sir, we don't have that." How does the beaver know what he can order? He needs the menu. In programming, we call the menu documentation. The menu lists everything the API knows how to do. We call these menu items endpoints. An endpoint is the address. It's the dish /getLogs /createUser /check weather. If the beaver asks for a dish that isn't on the menu, an endpoint that doesn't exist, the API will return an error. The smart beaver reads the documentation before ordering. The clueless beaver guesses and goes hungry. If you use Instagram, Uber, or your bank app, you use APIs all day long. Without APIs, the internet would be a bunch of isolated islands. With APIs, the internet is a giant dam network where everyone talks to everyone. But how does the beaver talk to the waiter? Just pointing isn't enough. There are different intentions. In the language of the web, there are 4 main verbs, 4 ways to shout at the waiter. We call them HTTP methods. Get, fetch. The beaver wants to eat. He wants to retrieve information. He says, "Waiter, get logs." The waiter goes to the kitchen, grabs the logs, and brings them. The beaver didn't change anything in the kitchen. He just looked and took. Post, send, or create. The beaver wants to add something new. He wants to create an account. He says, "Waiter, post this form." The waiter takes the Beaver's data to the kitchen and the chef creates a new record, user Beaver registered. Put, update, or swap. The Beaver changed his mind. He no longer wants to be called Little Beaver. He wants to be called Dam Master. He says, "Waiter, put this change." The waiter goes there and updates the record, swapping the old for the new. Delete, erase. The Beaver regrets it. He wants to disappear. He shouts, "Waiter, delete my account." The waiter goes to the kitchen, grabs the Beaver's file, and throws it in the shredder. Dangerous, but necessary. What is JSON, the Silver Platter? The waiter went to the kitchen, the chef prepared the wood. How does the waiter bring this meal? Does he just throw it on the table? No, he brings it on a standardized tray. In the tech river, this tray is called JSON, JavaScript Object Notation. JSON is the universal language. The Beaver speaks chomp chomp, front end in JavaScript. The chef speaks ancient Nordic, back end in Java or Python. They don't understand each other, but both understand JSON. JSON is a simple note written with curly braces. It looks like this: item, willow log, color, brown, tasty, true. It's lightweight, it's text, and it's easy to read. Back in the day, they used a heavy, rusty tray called XML. It was horrible, full of tags like del log. The Beaver would cut his paws on it. JSON is the evolution, the lightweight plastic tray everyone uses. Status codes, the waiter's face. The Beaver made the order. The waiter returned. Before looking at the food, the Beaver looks at the waiter's face. The waiter's facial expression says it all. These are the status codes. The Beaver needs to memorize the main ones. 200 OK. The waiter returns smiling. Everything went well. Here is your wood. Success. 201 created. Success in creation. Your order was noted and built. 400 bad request. The waiter returns angry. You asked for deep-fried logs on ice. The order makes no sense. The fault lies with the Beaver client. 401/403 unauthorized. The waiter stops the Beaver. Who are you? Where is your badge? The Beaver doesn't have permission to eat there. 404 not found. The classic. The waiter returns confused, scratching his head. I looked for this page. I looked for this log. It doesn't exist. It's gone. 500 internal server error. This is the worst. The waiter returns covered in soot, clothes torn, coughing smoke. The kitchen exploded. It's not the Beaver's fault. It's the server's. The Alpha Beaver chef tripped and knocked over the stove. Knowing how to read the waiter's face, the status code, is what differentiates a senior engineer from a desperate Beaver who thinks the code broke for no reason. API key and authentication, the VIP Bracelet. The Riverside Lodge is famous. If left open, everyone would walk in, eat for free, and deplete the stock. The owner needs control. He creates the API key. It's like a VIP area bracelet. When the Beaver makes an order, he has to show the bracelet. Authorization, bearer, golden bracelet 1234. The waiter looks at it. Ah, it's the wealthy Beaver. Serve him. If he doesn't have the key, he gets a 401 error. Get out of here. Additionally, the key is for counting. This Beaver has eaten 1,000 logs today. That's enough. Block him. This is the rate limit. Google Maps, ChatGPT, and Twitter APIs all use this. They give you a little for free. Want more? Pay for the diamond bracelet. Conclusion: don't reinvent the wheel. So what is an API? It's the waiter that connects your hunger, client, with the food, server. It's the translator that makes your phone talk to the satellite, the bank, and Uber. Nowadays, nobody builds everything from scratch. You want a map in your app? Use the Google API. Want to charge a credit card? Use the Stripe API. The smart, industrious Beaver doesn't go out and hunt every single twig. He requests it from those who already have the supply ready. That is productivity. That is being a Beaver architect. Stop trying to reinvent the wheel. Read the documentation, the menu, learn the verbs, the shouts, respect the waiter, and build applications that dominate the river. If you liked this dish, leave a tip, your like. Subscribe so you don't miss the next knowledge banquet. Request your JSON, and see you next time. Please subscribe to the channel to make the Beaver happy and smash the like button. See you next video.